everyone, welcome back to my class. This is Rumana Ali. I hope you all are fine. In today's class, I'm going to explain you about the chapter 3 enzymes of unit 1 plant physiology. When binding of certain chemicals to the active sites of the enzymes shuts off its activity, then that process is called as inhibition, and the chemicals that binds to the site of an enzyme and stops its action, that substances or that chemicals are called as inhibitors. So the inhibition is a process which is mainly classified into three main types, and that are competitive inhibition, non-competitive inhibition and feedback inhibition. First we'll discuss about the competitive inhibition. In this type of inhibition, the substrate molecule will compete with the inhibitors. So here the substrate molecule is also present and the inhibitor is also present, and both of them can fit into the active sites of the enzymes. Both can bind to the active sites of the enzymes. So in such reactions, the inhibitors will compete with the substrate molecule. So only 50% of the substrate molecules can bind to the active sites of the enzyme. Remaining 50% of the active sites are occupied by the inhibitors. So in this way, if the 50% of the active sites of the enzymes are occupied by the inhibitors, then the rate of the reaction will also decreases. It also affects the amount of the product that is formed. So by adding more and more amount of the substrate, that means by increasing the concentration of the substrate, the inhibition can be reduced to some extent. So by increasing or by adding more and more amount of the substrate molecules, more 25% of the active sites can be occupied, but the remaining 25% of the active sites can be bind or it will be occupied by the inhibitors only. So this is called as competitive inhibition, in which the inhibitors are competing with the substrate molecules to occupy the active sites of the enzymes. And this competitive inhibition is reversible by maintaining the concentration of substrate. Now let us see what is the meaning of non-competitive inhibition. In this type of inhibition, there will be no competition between the substrate and inhibitors. The substrate molecules can easily bind to the active sites. In this type of inhibition, there will be no competition between the substrate molecule and between the inhibitors, because the shape of the substrate molecule is totally different from the shape of the inhibitor, and the inhibitor is present in such shape that it cannot bind to the active sites of the enzyme, but this inhibitor can bind to the other sites of the enzyme except the active sites. So it is not binding to the active sites, it is binding to the other sites of the enzymes, like here it can bind. So when it binds at any other sites of the enzymes, then it results in the change, it results in the conformational change. The shape of the enzyme will get affected and it changes. Now the substrate which are present, they cannot bind to the active sites of the enzyme as it gets changed. So in this way, the non-competitive inhibition is a type of inhibition in which no enzyme substrate complex will be formed. Because of the binding of the inhibitor, the conformational changes can be seen in the structure, due to which the substrate molecule cannot bind to the active site, and this process is irreversible. This inhibition is irreversible. Feedback inhibition, here we'll take one example to understand the process of feedback inhibition. The glucose plus ATP will result in the formation of glucose 6-phosphate plus ADP in the presence of an enzyme hexokinase. Now for any reason, if we require 100 molecules of glucose 6-phosphate, but the concentration of the product will become lower, that let us take 99 molecules. Only 99 molecules of glucose 6-phosphate is present, but we require 100 molecules. Now this lower concentration or the low concentration of the product stimulates the action of an enzyme to produce more amount of the product, so that we can get a proper concentration of the product to carry out the different activities. Now if this concentration of the product increases, then the higher concentration of the product will also stimulate the enzyme to produce the product or to carry out by decreasing the rate of reaction, the product formation will also get decreases and it can reaches to the, and we can get the 100 molecules of glucose 6-phosphate at a particular time. In this way, the higher concentration and the lower concentration of the product stimulates the action of enzyme. Let us discuss about the classification of enzymes. So there are many enzymes that were discovered and isolated, and based on the reactions they catalyze, the enzymes are classified into 6 main classes. So the first one is oxidoreductase. These are the enzymes that catalyzes the redox reaction, in which both oxidation and reduction both takes place by the presence of oxidoreductase enzyme. So here an example is given. Malate plus NAD will give oxaloacetate plus NADH plus H plus hydrogen ions. So here we can see the loss of electrons and even the gain of hydrogen atoms. This is the redox reaction where the hydrogen atoms are added. The next class of enzyme is transferases. Transferases are the enzymes that catalyzes the transfer of a specific group from one substrate to another substrate. So let us see how they are transferring the group by taking an example. Glucose plus ATP, in the presence of an enzyme hexokinase, it produces glucose 6-phosphate plus ADP. One phosphate group is removed and it is given to the other substrate. So in such a way, the transferases are the enzymes that helps in transferring a specific group from one substrate to the another substrate in order to form the product. The next is hydrolases. Hydrolases are the enzymes that helps in carrying out the process of hydrolysis, where the water is present in the reaction. Water is involved in carrying out the reaction. So here the example is fructose 1,6-bisphosphate. When reacts with the water in the presence of an enzyme fructose 1,6-bisphosphatase, it results in the formation of fructose 6-phosphate and inorganic phosphate. The next is lyase. Lyases are the enzymes that helps in removing the group from the substrates. So when any group is removed from the substrate, then that reaction is going to catalyze by the enzymes called lyases. The example is arginosuccinic acid. In the presence of arginosuccinase, it produces arginine and fumaric acid. The next one is isomerases. These are the enzymes that catalyzes the change in the molecular form of substrate. So the molecular form of the substrate gets changed by the enzyme called isomerases. The example is ribose 5-phosphate. In the presence of an enzyme ribose 5-phosphoisomerase, it produces ribulose 5-phosphate. So in this reaction we can see how the substrate molecular form is changing by the presence of an enzyme called isomerase enzyme. The last one is ligases. These are the enzymes that helps in joining two molecules. The two molecules of the substrate gets joined with each other and it forms a new bond in between them. So the formation of the new bond can be catalyzed, or it can be synthesized, or it can be stimulated by the enzyme called ligases. The example is glutamic acid plus ammonia plus ATP in the presence of an enzyme glutamine synthetase forms glutamin, ADP and inorganic phosphate. So this is how the ligases helps in joining the two molecules and it helps in the formation of new bonds. So these are 6 classes of enzymes which are classified based on the reaction they catalyze. So here oxidoreductase, that helps in carrying out the redox reaction. Transferases means these enzymes helps in transferring a group from one substrate to another substrate, and hydrolysis means it helps in the reaction called hydrolysis. Lyases, it helps in removing the groups from the substrate, and isomerases changes the molecular form of the substrate, and ligases catalyzes the joining of two molecules to form new bonds. So this is about the 6 major classes of enzymes. So we all know that almost all the enzymes are proteins. So based on their structure, they are classified into two main types, that are simple enzymes and conjugated enzymes. Simple enzymes are exactly like the proteins. The structural structure of the simple enzymes is exactly like the proteins. That means proteins can be termed as the simple enzymes, but in the conjugated enzymes, protein cannot be called as an enzyme because this will be inactive until and unless the non-protein part will come and bind with this protein part. So protein and non-protein part, when they are present in a combination, then that type of substances can be termed as conjugated enzymes. The protein part of the enzyme is termed as apoenzyme, which will be inactive. It will present in an inactive state, and non-protein part is called as cofactor. So when the cofactor binds with the protein part of an enzyme, that is to the apoenzyme, it results in the formation of a complete enzyme, which is termed as holoenzyme. Now this cofactor can be prosthetic group, or it can be metal ion, or it can be coenzymes. So the non-protein part, which is called as cofactor, it will be either prosthetic group or metal ion or coenzymes. So prosthetic groups are the organic compounds. Prosthetic groups are the groups that bind tightly with the apoenzyme, and metal ions are the ions that forms the coordination bond with this apoenzyme, and coenzymes are the enzymes which shows an association with this apoenzyme. So in simple words, we can say that apoenzyme, when combined with the cofactor, either with the prosthetic group or with the metal ion or with the coenzyme, then it results in the formation of a complete conjugate enzyme, which is termed as holoenzyme. So this is about the different types of enzymes, that is simple and conjugated. Simple means only protein part can act as an enzyme. Conjugated means the protein part will be inactive, which is termed as apoenzyme. When it combined with the non-protein part, that is cofactor, then it becomes active, carry out certain reactions, and that active conjugated enzyme will be called as holoenzyme. So that's all for today. I'll be back with a new chapter in the next session. Thank you.